It is a Wednesday afternoon in mid-June and finals week is here. Your students are crammed to the university, trying to study for finals or add the final touches to their essays before they're due at midnight. Your colleagues are getting head start with grading their final examinations. As most students or staff do, they take a break by innocently shopping for a new outfit. Little do they know, as one is surfing the website, a door has been opened. An intruder sees the door and tiptoes past the individual and past the university's security controls without being detected. They go directly to your systems. The intruder rushes to meddle with the university network and shared drives. In no time, the intruder begins to block access to the drives. The intruder then lunges towards the individuals, holding their information for ransom. They will agree to release the information if they pay them a sum. Your students and staff panic. Luckily, your universities took snapshots of the records before the intruder grabbed them. Who is this intruder? His name is Ransomware. This incident did occur at the University College in London on June 14, 2017. The school was a victim to a malvertising ransomware attack. Malvertising ransomware is a malicious type of software, or malware, that holds valuable information captive. It springs on its victims through advertisements. A student accessed a website that contained ransomware embedded in an advertisement. The culprit behind the attack was AdGlohas, a group of malvertising ransomware masterminds. Through their methods, the group was able to install the ransomware into the systems and networks through a discovered vulnerability exploit in a software application supported by the university. Typically, a ransomware attack will send out a ransom message to their victims, asking them for ransom money in exchange for the data to be released. Here's an example of a ransom message sent to the victim saying, "I will give you back your information if you give me money." As a consequence, the files of 12 individuals were impacted. It is important to take on this challenge to ensure that the probability of this attack from happening to your university is as low as possible. This attack at the University of College of London began around noon on Wednesday, June 14, 2017. A student accessed a web page that was a trap for malvertising ransomware. This page contained an innocent-looking but malicious advertisement. The ransomware embedded in an ad made use of the Astrum Exploit Kit. An exploit kit is a malicious type of toolkit that is designed to locate vulnerabilities in software applications to spread malware. As soon as the user accessed the web page, the kit was able to determine that the viewer was using an outdated Adobe Flash plugin. The kit used the plugin immediately and sent malware into the servers and then into the drives. The Astrum used HTTPS and created a free HTTPS certificate and shadow domain. This helped cover up the malicious traffic from the university security software. It was not until 5 p.m. that day that it was detected that there was a problem with the networks and drives, perhaps when the virus checkers conducted another scan. By 7 p.m., the ransomware restricted access to the drives. The IT department then put out a statement notifying students that the college is experiencing a widespread ransomware attack. They also noted the dangers ransomware could do to your computer and the drives. Students should not open up any email attachments, they warned. Added was that the drives were disabled so that the ransomware can be found and removed. The next day, the ransomware had been contained. The following day, storages and drives were quickly restored, as were editing privileges, because records had been backed up the day before the attack. Where the University of College of London went wrong was not having a good patch management. On top of this, the university did not provide security updates to the Adobe Flash plugin. The old plugin exploit was a result of having poor patch management. As stated before, the Astrum Exploit Kit was designed to find the old plugin and use it to sneak ransomware into the systems and networks. It is important for your university to have a good information security plan that supports the distributing of software patches and updates to everyone on a regular basis, whether manually or automatically. The date as to when the patch and updates will be given should also be included. Perhaps patches and updates should be done during the weekend so that there is less web traffic. It is hoped your university is not faced with this ransomware attack, but in reality that is idealistic thinking. Before a university decides to take actions to buffer security, you should scrutinize information security policies in place. There should be a disaster recovery program and risk management that is part of your information security policy. Luckily, you can immediately take the first step to create your plan, your disaster recovery plan. That is preparation. The policies, response plan, list of contacts, the acquisition of tools, and training sessions are done here. Being able to identify the ransomware is the second step. The short and long-term procedure to contain the malware is the third step. This step is critical in limiting the damage of the ransomware. The eradication of the ransomware is the fourth step, where the ransomware is removed. The recovery of the systems is the fifth step. In the last step, the university has a chance to assess what caused the malware attack based on concrete valuable information gathered during the incident. It is important to have a disaster recovery plan in place so that the threat can be immediately dealt with in a lawful way. It'll help ensure that your university is in compliance with applicable laws, policies, and guidelines. It'll also ensure that your most valuable assets, which are delicate in nature, are protected. Your university should also determine if they have the appropriate technology to support the policies. Does the existing technologies have the functions to take on ransomware? Will the interests of each department be secured with the technology? The leaders of the university should see to it that the technologies support the activities and services of the university. If your technologies are unable to effectively take on ransomware, it is encouraged that you acquire improved technologies. The costs of the potential risks are far too great for your university to ignore. Once the software that best meets your demands and goals are selected, your IT department should be trained on these new technologies so they can know how to respond to a ransomware attack effectively. A lesson you can learn from the University College of London is that patching is very important. Alarmingly, 75% of individuals may only patch once a month, every other month, or not at all. One explanation of this is that the systems may not allow patching to be done easily. Yet the longer the university goes without patching, the chances of the risks occurring increase. Keep in mind that the attack at the University College of London detected the exploit and used it to restrict access to drives all within a few hours of one day. If the university systems make it difficult to patch, there is patch management software such as Pulseway and ConnectWise Automate that allows patches to be updated with ease. Remember the malicious toolkits that take advantage of software and systems that are left unpatched. The university should look into modifying the hard drives and services. One change to make with their hard drives and services is encryption. The fight for the future campaign and tools like BitLocker and VileVault can assist your university in encrypting your assets. The benefit of encryption is that it turns readable text into garble, which makes it difficult for hackers to make use of these assets. It is important to see if the software can encrypt the data because they cannot be compressed or deduplicated. There are tools and services readily available for you to protect your most valuable information. One thing that the college did right was backing up their files. They were able to restore the drives quickly because they did backups. Your university should invest in data protection software and implement a data backup plan. Data should be backed up consistently and constantly. Data created during a backup can give the university a warning about a ransomware attack. It is important for information to be available as soon as possible so they can continue with business as usual. It is imperative that backups are done offline because if stored online, the ransomware can get to them. Time wasted is money wasted. It is important for your most valuable assets are backed up, protected, and kept away from online threats. The university should also acquire anti-malware software to install on all university-owned devices, or at least provide cheap, free anti-malware software for every student and staff member to download. Windows does offer Malwarebytes as their anti-malware software. Although the price to protect the whole staff and students may run high, it is important to consider the cost of this software will be far less than the consequences of the ransomware attack. Web browsers themselves can also be helpful here. IT staff could select different browser settings to prevent the attack. For instance, there is a click-to-run browser setting that prevents flash ads from playing automatically. There is also an ad blocking browser plugin that prevents ads from showing up. There are also browsers that can tag ransomware, preventing it from attacking your browsers, your networks, and drives. Slight changes can prevent the big headaches caused by a ransomware attack. Having a security information and event management in place can be impactful at halting ransomware attacks. The applications and network hardware can provide an analysis of security alerts in real time. For instance, it can alert individuals of immediate issues right away. There are vulnerability management tools that can protect the university against ransomware. This management can also be helpful during a cyber forensic investigation because the data is placed in logs with time periods. Having this management in place means that your university can detect an attack more quickly. You'll be better able to control the attack and prevent damages from worsening. Ransomware is a problem for universities for several reasons. First, ransomware is considered one of the most common direct revenue generating risks. The United States is among the top 6 countries that are impacted by all types of ransomware. Information that is typically includes social security numbers, payment information, and medical records of students and faculty on these servers. There's also sensitive information for alumni and applicants to the university. The average value of an individual's record is about $200. For example, here, 27,509 records are exposed per data breach. With the attacks combined, a total of 15.5 million records have been affected. Given the abundance of personal and valuable information is required of staff, and especially students, to be employed and are enrolled in school, university systems are a treasure trove for hackers. Since 2005, it has been the top ubiquitous malware that entities have had to deal with. Ransomware attackers may threaten to release the stolen data if they don't receive a ransom. Secondly, the nature of IT networks are a problem. One educator argues, quote, campus IT networks are generally of open nature with broad use of social media by students and employees. Further, there are often limited network controls in place compared with other targeted industries. As a result, campus networks are both vulnerable and enticing for hackers, end quote. Given this alarming analysis, it is imperative that the university considers the aforementioned suggestions in reshaping their information security controls and policies. Ransomware brings a series of unanticipated consequences to the universities that could be undesirable. One risk that ransomware brings for students and staff is the disruption of daily business. As with the University College of London, the attack occurred during the finals week. At this point in time during the semester, storage and drive traffic is at a high. The ransomware crept into the drives and storages and began to restrict access to much needed materials. IT disabled access to storages and drives and editing privileges for 2 days. Another risk of ransomware attack is the loss of data. During a ransomware attack at the University of Calgary, Canada, staff had their hard drives wiped and restored. Luckily, the university had backed up their systems before the attack. Yet, if there was a data loss, this leads to a loss of money and time staff and students have spent to create their work. As a consequence, they've had to make up their work or miss deadlines. Another risk is data theft. It appears that snatching ransom money is not the main motivation for ransomware. Rather, hackers use ransomware to steal data to use to their advantage. In fact, one group of ransomware attackers are nation states. As with the University of Calgary incident, it was believed that China carried out the attack for reasons of espionage. They want to steal data from universities because this helps advance their country and develop it. This could lead to a breach in data, especially sensitive data. It could lead to financial lawsuits from the university. The privacy of students and staff are at jeopardy. Currently, the education sector reports the most data breaches given all the industries. Per data breach, 27,509 records are exposed, as indicated here by this aforementioned source from the EDUCAUSE Center for Analysis and Research. It is crucial for universities to take measures to prevent ransomware attacks from happening because of the time and financial consequences. Reviewing the headlines of news articles, universities are paying their attackers anywhere from 20 grand to 30 grand to get a decryption key to recover their lost records. While this may seem like a drop in the bucket for the university, the outcome may not be as desired. Lena Delgatti, the vice president of the University of Calgary, says, quote, "Decryption keys do not automatically restore all systems or guarantee the recovery of all data," end quote. As stated before, the time to recover from the impact could take days. If the attack is more serious, it could take longer. This all can ruin the reputation of your university. As the internet becomes more complex and the attacks more cutting edge, it is paramount that your university takes steps to take on ransomware attacks. The sophistication and savviness of hackers have been realized for some time. Back in 1999, former Deputy Attorney General Jamie S. Gorelick noted, quote, "A small group of technically sophisticated people with nothing more than off-the-shelf computer equipment can disrupt the computers and internet connections on which our finance, telecommunications, power, water systems, energy service systems all depend," end quote. It is nearly 20 years later, and these people have become more sophisticated in their attacks. As witness, attackers can sneak into your systems undetected and cause damage before it is detected. It is important that you consider the facts of the matter and the options and solutions mentioned here to remedy the problem. The main thing is to protect the personally identifiable information and digital assets. To ignore this issue is to be complacent with data breaches and disruption of operations. It is more important now than ever to be ahead of attackers.